Hi there. Welcome to this episode of Bible Creatures Unveiled. Donkeys. Quiet, humble creatures that have carried the weight of the world, literally and figuratively, for thousands of years. But did you know that donkeys also have a profound presence in the Bible? In this video, we'll explore the role of donkeys in the scriptures, the stories they're part of, and the valuable lessons we can draw from their lives. Let's take a closer look. The first significant appearance of donkeys in the Bible is in the book of Genesis. Abraham, the father of many nations, had a donkey that carried him to the land of Moriah for one of the most dramatic moments in the Bible, the near sacrifice of his son, Isaac, a journey that would be both a test of faith and obedience. Genesis 22 verse 3 states, "So Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and he split the wood for the burnt offering, and arose and went to the place of which God had told him." Abraham's donkey was part of that sacred journey, symbolizing the quiet patience and endurance needed in the face of trials. Abraham, obedient to God's command, prepared to give up his son, but God provided a ram as a substitute. And so the donkey quietly becomes a witness to a moment of divine intervention. What can we learn from this? The donkey's steadfast presence reminds us that sometimes we may not fully understand the journey ahead, but like the donkey, we are called to trust and be obedient, carrying our burdens with patience. Remember to like, comment, share and subscribe if you are enjoying this content. Fast forward to the book of Numbers, where we encounter one of the most extraordinary stories involving a donkey. Balaam, a prophet, was traveling to meet a king, but God had other plans. Along the way, Balaam's donkey saw an angel blocking their path, but Balaam couldn't see it. When the donkey refused to move, Balaam struck it 3 times. Then, the impossible happened. The donkey spoke. Numbers 22 verses 28 to 30 states, "Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said to Balaam, 'What have I done to you, that you have struck me these 3 times?' And Balaam said to the donkey, 'Because you have made a fool of me, I wish I had a sword in my hand, for then I would kill you.' And the donkey said to Balaam, 'Am I not your donkey on which you have ridden all your life long to this day? Is it my habit to treat you this way?' And he said, 'No.' And in that moment God opened Balaam's eyes, allowing him to see the angel. The donkey had saved his life. This story teaches us about the importance of listening. Sometimes God speaks to us in unexpected ways. Balaam's donkey, a humble animal, became the instrument of divine intervention. It reminds us to stay aware and open, for God's messages might not always come from the places we expect. Perhaps the most famous donkey in the Bible is the one that carried Jesus into Jerusalem. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus commands his disciples to find a donkey and bring it to him. Matthew 21 verse 5 says, "Tell the daughter of Zion, behold, your king is coming to you lowly and sitting on a donkey, a colt, the foal of a donkey." He rides into the city, fulfilling the prophecy in Zechariah 9 verse 9 that the Messiah would come riding on a donkey. Matthew 21 verse 7, "They brought the donkey and the colt, laid their clothes on them, and set him on them." This wasn't just any ordinary ride, it was a statement of peace. The donkey, a humble animal, was the perfect vehicle for Jesus to make his entrance, not as a king of war, but as a king of peace. The crowds, waving palm branches and shouting Hosanna, recognized this moment as the fulfillment of prophecy. What can we learn from this? Jesus' choice of a donkey reminds us that greatness is often found in humility. The donkey wasn't a majestic horse, but it carried the King of Kings. Similarly, we're reminded that humility is not weakness but strength. True greatness is found in serving others and embracing peace. Throughout the Bible, donkeys are consistently associated with service, humility, and steadfastness. Whether they're carrying burdens, assisting in journeys, or even speaking words of wisdom, donkeys show us that we don't have to be in the spotlight to play an important role. In a world that often values status and visibility, donkeys remind us that our worth isn't measured by how grand our role is, but by our faithfulness in the roles we are given. Whether it's a donkey on a humble journey with Abraham or one carrying Jesus into Jerusalem, these animals teach us that sometimes the most powerful acts are done quietly and humbly. So, What can we take away from the donkeys in the Bible? Here are 3 important lessons. First, patience and endurance. Like the donkey who silently carried the burdens of others, we too are called to endure with patience, trusting that God is with us every step of the way. Second, listening and awareness. Balaam's donkey teaches us that we must remain open to God's guidance, even if it comes from unexpected sources. Don't be afraid to listen, even when it seems strange. And third, humility and greatness. Jesus riding a donkey into Jerusalem reminds us that greatness comes not from power or prestige, but from humility, peace, and service to others. The donkeys in the Bible may not have been the grandest of animals, but their stories have lasted for millennia because they reflect timeless truths. In their humble, often unseen ways, donkeys teach us about patience, listening, and humility. And perhaps that's why, when we reflect on our own lives, we can find strength and wisdom in the quiet, faithful things we do each day. So the next time you encounter a donkey, whether in a field or in a story, take a moment to pause and consider the lessons they offer. Patience, listening, humility. These qualities are as valuable today as they were thousands of years ago. Thank you for watching. May we all be reminded to carry each other's burdens with grace and humility, just like the donkeys of the Bible. See you next time for another study of an animal in the Bible. Remember to like, comment, share and subscribe for more Bible content.